after. Having said that, the guestorship came out about a couple of years ago when I was the vice president of membership at Toastmasters Malta. And we had a problem because our members level was not very good, and we needed to really work to increase our membership to make sure that the club will remain relevant in the future. And I realized that as VPM, Vice President Membership, most of my activity was connected with guests at the club, follow up with guests, speak with guests, try to make sure the guest likes and understand what we do, and try to get the guest to become a member. So I came up with these things that I was the Vice President of Guestorship. That's how the name came all about. And this little story, it's also like a once upon a time. Because once upon a time, where I was VPM, we used to meet live in a nice location with a big room, a lot of lights, a fantastic video system, all live, talking to each other before, during, and after the events. This has changed dramatically over the last 12 months. And we had all to really come to ourselves and to change the mindset, because what used to work a year ago didn't work anymore, at least as far as we talk about Toastmasters. And so at Toastmasters Malta, we had to come up with a new idea, a new way to try to make sure that people will know about the club, that they will be interested in coming to a meeting, an online meeting. And so we went back to the basics, because the basics are, no matter if your meeting is live or it's online or is a hybrid even, everything starts with a guest, an online guest. And so really what is important, and I invite all of you, regardless if you are a president, a VPPR, or VPM, or just someone that are interested into your club growth, think about this. How was when you became a member? What was your journey? You were a guest once. You were a guest to a first meeting. And that's really the most important part of the guest journey, the first meeting. That's where the magic of Toastmasters comes into picture. You go to a meeting, you don't know what's going to happen. You meet some people you don't know. Maybe you know someone that invited you. And really, what you can do is really to make that meeting special, even if it's online. And at the same time, after that first meeting is the follow-ups. Make sure if you promise you're going to send an email, do send that email. Make sure if you promise to do something, a phone call, a follow-up, do it. And most than everything, map your follow-ups. Map what you're going to do. Write it down on a piece of paper. I'm going to call this guest the day after, and then again in 3 days, and then again in 1 week. And in 2 weeks, we have another meeting. I'm going to invite him again. You're already creating a journey. We call it the 7-touch journey. We have a commitment to speak or to email or to see. Now it's not possible to see in person, so it's mostly online, at least 7 times. The first time being the meeting, and then all the follow-ups. It doesn't matter exactly how you're going to interact with this guest. It's very important that you do. And when you do, especially during the first meeting, just remember one thing. Make it simple. Don't try to explain pathways. Don't try to explain what the general evaluator is. Just make sure that the guest is relaxed, is enjoying the event, and it's basically feeling comfortable enough to ask you questions, to follow up. Really is really about the feeling. It's not about explaining anything, because the first time you tried something, you had no idea what it was. I remember my first meeting, I thought Toastmasters was about only impromptu speaking and that for table topics, and that was it. I didn't even know pathways existed about prepared speech. I had no idea. I just thought I could go there and someone will call my name. I'll go on stage. I'll try to blur something out in English that will make sense. And that was it. That was my idea. So it's very important that you don't try to put too much into the mind of the guest. Having said that, since the time is running quite fast, and I want to make this very, very actionable and not really theory, because now you're thinking I'm saying to you a lot of things and what is really that you're doing. I'm going to share with you some tips that has been working for us at Toastmasters Malta, and maybe they can be of use for you. So I'm going to share the screen right now. There you go. Okay. Please, can you tell me? You should be seeing. Yes, you see my screen. So tips number 1, map the guest journey first. From guest to member, what does it take? Describe each step. one meeting or two meetings or three meetings or maybe 4 meetings. It takes 2 months or it takes 3 weeks. Find patterns, see what happens, and then create a strategy to fit that and test it. In our case, at Toastmasters Malta, we know, because we map this data very simple on an Excel file, that if a guest comes once for a meeting, there is about a 30% chance that maybe he will become a member. But if he comes twice within a month, we have a 65% chance that he will become a member. So we know that that's our goal. That's what we have to do to try to maximize what the guest does with the club. Another interesting tip, change your target audience. I remember when I started as a president last summer, people will come to me, will contact me and say, oh, I really like to join, but when are you going back live? Because I want to be on stage, I want to be in front of people. Unfortunately, we cannot do that right now. But that doesn't mean that Toastmasters has ceased to deliver value. We do have a lot of value to give. It's just different. It's different value for a different audience. In a way, it's really not useful to spend time with people who want to be on a stage right now. But there are a lot of people out there who are working from home. They need to get better. They need to get better at video speaking. And that's what we can do right now. It's massive. It's an important value. It's a different set of skills that we can do. Tips number 3, exclusivity matters. Beside the regular meeting open to all, we created an extra meeting a month. Since we are all online, we have more time at our hand. So we add a meeting once a month where we create special events for members only. And that has been very successful because members really like the exclusivity. And at the same time, the VPM can always have an excuse to contact the recent guests of the club to tell them, hey, you know what, we have a keynote speaker, but it's for members only. Maybe you consider to join, or what about someone who will be benefit from this keynote speaker? This is something that we do for our members. It costs nothing. There are a lot of keynote speakers or very good speakers, even around Toastmasters International, to get them on board to deliver value to your members and to create for you an opportunity to interact with the guest. Tip number 4, show me the value. Online, we can really help people who need to do presentation for business, teachers who need to teach their kids to keep the attention. You have to give an evaluation to your team online. So many things that you can take right off a Toastmaster meeting into your life, your business, your career. So actually, in my opinion, since we move online, we have expanded the opportunity to deliver value to everyone who is interested. Tips number 5, breakout room. Since you are online, we do still have a break, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes for a coffee, for a tea, for a sandwich, for a snacks. Use that time. Invite the guest to join the VPM or the VPPR, whoever is in charge of it at your club. Invite them in a breakout room. Ask them questions. Just the guest and yourself. It's very quiet, it's very relaxed. The guest feel more relaxed. They might ask you a question, and you can see right away, right through the meeting, what they're thinking about it. It's a very, very good way to make it more personal, less scaring for a guest with all the people connected, and much more easier to interact with them and get a connection, and to make sure that obviously you have got their email address correct, you've got their name correct, so you can follow up. Because if you miss that, then you're done. Tip number 6, the database is your gold mine. You have a lot of connection from the past. People who were guests, were members, they're not with the club again. It's an opportunity to contact them again. Organize an open day. We did an open day online. It was amazing. We created a quiz, like a pub quiz online. We described the roles. We really made it very fun. No long prepared speech, just a lot of impromptu. We removed some of the roles to make it more fast-paced and easier to understand. And it was a great success. We had about 40 guests at that meeting. Just make sure, I wrote it there, it's GDPR compliant, so you don't bother anyone. And then last tip, number 7, it is a team effort. Growing the club, getting guests to become members is not just the work of the VPPR or the VPM or the president. Everyone must participate. because if you believe that the club means something, it has value for a person, you want to do the best to present it. And I'll conclude this with a bonus. The pledge on value and integrity. Don't try to sell Toastmasters. Be GDPR compliant. We are in the EU after all. And support the guest. And then let the magic of Toastmasters do the rest. If it is a fit, you describe, you show the best of what it is, the guest will decide to engage with the club. That's very, very simple. I'm going to close with a couple of slides. What happened at Toastmasters Malta? We had a very good result. Even this year, 4 members who signed for 1 year. So actually just now in April, we are 33. We were 29 last summer. So we grow 4 members during COVID, basically being online. We never had 1 meeting live this year. This system that we created is connected with our marketing automation for also following up on Facebook and social media. And we attach another part, which is called the paperless project, meaning we run the entire meeting paperless. It's all online, and it can be used also when we will return back live. And that will also allow for hybrid meeting, because this paperless system can collect feedback, voting, etc., at the agenda on a smartphone, meaning that if you are in the room or you're going to be connected from online, you will be able to still enjoy the full event. Having said that, you are invited. This is the link where you can see a piece of our guest management system for yourself, see what happened. And these are my contacts. This is my email address. If you drop me an email or you speak with Ralph, I'll make sure I'll share with you this presentation. And thank you very much for your time. I hope some of these tips can be useful for you. All the best for the future of Toastmasters and of your club. And yes, I'm done. Ralph, let me know if I managed to stay more or less on the time.
Thank you, Marco. I think really a big applause from my side. And maybe Sabine, you can also add some applause here. Now, when we first were in contact, I asked you, did you change it also to the digital world? And I really must say, no, that was fully done. You really impressively demonstrated that also digitally this can work.
Yes, yes, absolutely. We are trying to think solution that will work when we get back. One of the challenge, for example, with the hybrid meeting is to collect ballots, the voting, the feedback. It's a bit difficult. So we created a system that works everywhere. It's very, very simple. I can share it with you if you want to see it later on. And that will allow to solve at least one of the challenges for the hybrid meeting. So yes, as you were asking me, we have been working since the last time we spoke, to make sure that the system works also online. So it does.
I see that Anna Flores is waiting. She's waiting to talk about Toastmasters. But before I move